Welcome to Farm RPG. Belogan here. This is version 3. Yes, version 3 of pigs. We're going to keep at it till we get it right, folks. If you watched version 1 or version 2, a lot of this is going to be rehash. Hopefully this will be the last one. And I think it is, unless something drastically changes in the mechanics of pigs. So let's rehash. Pigs have two parts. They're the most complicated animal that we have so far. You have the pig pen that you can build at level 70 farming, and it costs 50 million silver to build. Once you do that, you can start buying pigs. Pigs start at 250 silver each, so they are half the cost of cows. You can have up to 250 at once. Once they hit level 5, you can start slaughtering them for bacon, and bacon sells as a base price of 5,000 silver each. And therein lies the crux of why we're doing version 3. The first couple versions completely ignored negotiator perks that increase silver selling price that most of us have. They end up changing the numbers quite a bit. The recommendations slightly, not drastically, but slightly. But to level up pigs, you don't pet them like cows and chickens. Instead, you have to feed them feed that you get from the feed mill. So the feed mill you can build at level 6 farming. So yes, before the pig pen, costs 25 million silver. And then you throw crops that you grow in there, starting with watermelon being the base crop that you can throw in up through broccoli. Each crop gives a different amount of feed. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 12, 24 for broccoli. Then once a pig hits level 5, you can send them to the slaughterhouse. We talked about that. In the slaughterhouse library page specifically, there is a lot of math with recommendations, and everything that I'm discussing in this video has already been updated here. The updates make suggestions on optimization. It's not the only way to do it. It's just what I would recommend for optimizing your returns on the pig pen. Let's go to the spreadsheet and talk about that big difference of looking at your silver selling price with all of your updates versus not. So I just put this on a separate tab. I've got my old pigs tab, and now there's a pigs max perks tab. We are assuming animal level for both of these. If you haven't watched any of the other pig videos, really quick, what we're doing here in the left, we've got the columns of the number of pigs that you have and how many it costs to replace them. We have an analysis on crops from watermelon to broccoli, how long they take to grow, shortest time with max perks for growing. Not real relevant to the analysis, but just that's if you're trying to figure out how many hours per day you're gonna have to grow crops to hit your 250 feed per day. How many feed you get, feed per hour, assuming this is again max grow time or your quickest grow time. But you notice they come out the same. So regardless of your perks, it's going to be the same for the grow time, whether that's 2.5 hours or 5 hours or 10 hours or whatever it is. And then the silver per feed cost is minimized with watermelon. So if you are growing a crop specifically for making feed out of, watermelon is your best economical choice for that, broccoli being the worst. Then in the left column over here, we have a lost profits per feed. What this is saying is if I had sold this broccoli instead, for example, how much silver profit would I make divided by the amount of feed. So this is lost silver per feed versus just selling the crops. We end up throwing that total amount in. Based off our recommendations updating of when to slaughter pigs, we are only doing 1 point of analysis here. We're assuming 20 pigs per day. And if you look where this ends up being optimized, and I'll dig into this a little bit, it is at level 6, and that takes 12 days to get there. The reason why we're assuming 20 pigs per day is because if you take 250 divided by 12, you get 20.8333. It's not an even number, so you do 20 per day. That makes it an even number without overflowing. You also never get to 250 pigs. You're at 220 to 240. Now, from the past videos, we did the analysis to dig in and say, if you do more pigs at once, is it cheaper? And it is, because you're replacing more pigs at once, meaning that the cost overall of the pigs you're replacing is a little bit lower. Again, because replacing the per pig cost, replacing pig 229 through 250 per pig, the average is 62K per pig. Whereas if you're replacing, 184 through 255 or through 250, if you're doing 66 pigs, the average cost is 55K per pig. So doing more pigs at once lowers the cost. So you can maximize your profits by doing more at once, but we're just sticking with the 20 even per day. That also happens to work out to our inventory limit isn't too bad, because at level 6, you're getting 35 bacon. And so you only need 700 inventory total, which is pretty reasonable for most players to get there by the time you're level 70 farming. If you're not, obviously you want to use less than that. So plugging in the numbers then, the total profit that you're getting from a pig goes up quite a bit, because if you're selling it with max perks, you're getting 60% premium on your silver selling price. And so you're getting 8,000 silver, not 5,000 per bacon. that makes the value of the bacon for the pigs quite a bit higher. So, 200,000 at level 5, 280,000 at level 6 versus 125, 175. So you can see that's a pretty big difference there, especially when you subtract out the cost of the cow. And again, we're doing the average cost of a cow if you're replacing 220 through 224, which ended up being 63,000 even. So you plug that in minus the cost of the feed to get the cow to level 6, which takes 12 days. So that's 12 feed per cow, minus the cost of lost profits. So that's your lost profits times 12 as well. Total that in, that's how much total profit you get from the cow. And take that, and this is just showing that per day, how much per cow. But if you take this and then to figure out when you're maximized, it's 250 divided by 12, because that's your number of days, times your profit per cow. And you come out just around 4 million silver per day. So just a little bit over. So it turns out, and no big surprise, but selling your bacon for drastically more with that 60% premium gives you more than double the profits. We were maximized without any silver selling perks at just under 2 million when you're at level 7. Turns out level 6 ends up being maximized with a higher silver selling price. Now, if you have a very large inventory, you can turn these over faster. And what that just means is if you have enough, say you had enough inventory to hold all of the bacon in one day, you'd buy all 250 pigs one day because that's your cheapest price. You'd wait 12 days, slaughter them all, sell them all the next day, buy them all again. And so you'd only be doing it one every 12 days. So you have all of your steps in between on what your inventory is at. But at a minimum to keep this optimized, 20 works out pretty well. And that gives you this number. So the actual number you're going to get is going to vary if you go all the way up to 250 pigs and just do your inventory limit divided by 35. But that level of 6 still ends up being what's optimized. I don't feel too bad about the previous recommendation because if you look at the difference in the silver gains for level 6 versus level 7, it's not that big of a difference per day. We're talking about 100K per day. So still pretty reasonable to do that level 7 versus level 6. If you've already got pigs there, you're not losing out on a whole lot. But certainly versus doing at level 5, it's a pretty big difference. And then if you go longer than that, wait, it starts to drop off even longer. So certainly don't wait past level 7 to slaughter your pigs, unless it's your favorite pig that you're going to keep forever and never ever get rid of. I have a cow like that. If I show you my farm, yeah, I've got the new tricked out color that was just released today. I do have cow patty, level 10 cow, will never get slaughtered. All right, this was version 3 of pigs. Let's hope this one's the winner. Third try is the charm. Everything is included in here. I'm not infallible. If I make mistakes, feel free to point them out or ask me different questions and we can look at things differently. I am perfectly happy to admit that I make lots of mistakes. I just try to fix them quickly and move on and keep learning and improving as we go. All right, as always, thanks for watching.